All right, hello everybody, this is Miss Piekarski. I'm going to go over the process of foiling very quickly, and then I'm going to go over the box method. I know most of you already covered this in Algebra 2, so this should be a very quick review and should be very easy for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now the term foiling, it is an acronym for first, outside, inside, last, and that just tells you the order or how you should multiply two factored terms together. Okay, so what we have right here is these are the factors of a polynomial. This is factored form, and we want the regular equation or the general form or standard form of your polynomial, okay? Sometimes you'll have it referred to your just a polynomial equation. Sometimes it'll be standard form of a polynomial. All right, so this is the factored form here. We want to multiply everything together or FOIL it in order to find your polynomial, okay? So we're going to take our first two sets of terms, our x plus 4 and our x minus 1, and I'm going to multiply the two first terms together. So first, the f represents that, or tells us that we need to multiply our two first terms together, and then the o tells us we need to multiply our outside terms together. Then the I tells us to multiply the two inside terms together, and then the L means that we need to multiply the two last terms together. So FOIL is F-O-I-L. When we do that, we get, let's see, oops, let me fix that so I'm not erasing all my lines. There we go. All right, so we get x squared minus x plus 4x and then minus 4. And I erased some of these lines. Let me go ahead and draw them back up there. All right, and then we need to combine like terms. Notice you have a negative x here and then a plus 4x here. So because both of these have the same variable with the same exponent, so here this exponent would be 1 and this exponent over here would also be 1. Okay, so those are the they're like terms, so I can combine that by subtracting 1 from 4. So I get x squared plus 3x minus 4. Okay, now I need to do the same process again, but this time I'm going to multiply my last factor term, the x minus 3, by my polynomial. Okay, so I have x minus 3. I'm going to multiply, this time, I multiply the first term by the first term, then multiply the first term by the second term, and then by the last term, okay? And then I need to take my inside terms, multiply those two together, multiply those two together, and multiply those two together. So this is the correct process of FOILing when you have more than two factors, okay? And I know most of you haven't done that a whole lot, but it's the same basic concept. Basically, you're multiplying every single term together is basically what you need to do with FOILing. So when we did that, when we multiplied all those out, we have a lot of like terms that we're going to combine. Whoops, let me redraw my lines again. There we go. All right, so we have this 3x squared and a minus 3x squared. Those end up canceling each other out because this is a plus and this is a minus. They cancel each other out. Then we have a negative 4x and a negative 9. You can add those together to get negative 13 and then the plus 12 at the end. Okay, so the polynomial of these three factors is x cubed minus 13x plus 12. Okay. Let's look at the same type of problem but with the box method. Now we have the same three terms, x plus 4, x minus 1, x minus 3, so the same three factors, and I want to basically FOIL them again. But this time instead of doing the first outside, inside, last, I'm going to use what's called a box method. So what I do is I take my first two factors, so the x plus 4 goes on the top, and these are my columns, okay? And then the x plus 1 is going to go on the side, and this is going to be my rows. And now for these boxes, you would multiply your column and your row together. So x times x is just x squared, and the x times -1 is negative x, and then 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times -1 is -4. Okay? Now we combine like terms, same kind of thing that we did in the last with our foiling process. We're just combining like terms, and when you do that, it's easier if you go ahead and draw these diagonal lines here and here, and you'll notice that these two have the same term or same exponent on their variable. This has its own and this has its own. So then you just combine the stuff that's in each diagonal section. So it's x squared and then 3x and -4. Okay. Now the same thing, so once we do the box method once, we can do it again. So this here now becomes our columns. Okay, those are the column headings, and then my last term here becomes my row labels. Okay, so x and then -3, then you're multiplying your column times your row, so x times x squared, x times 3x, x times -4 gives you those three terms. -3 times x squared gives you -3x squared. -3 times 3x gives you -9x, and then -4 times -3 gives you 12. And then again, same kind of thing, do the diagonal lines. Let me see. Let me put that to the back. So you have these diagonal lines. Notice this time we have 3 diagonal lines. Let me make it a little bit more accurate. There we go. I don't want to cut off any parts of my answers. So everything on this portion is just all by itself, so x cubed, and then the -3x squared and the +3x squared, those cancel each other out. -9x plus -4x gives you -13, and then 12 is all by itself. All right, so that's basically how to use the box method in your notes. Please go ahead and draw these diagonal lines so you understand that it gives you your like terms.